Have you struggled to find a meaningful career path yet? Or are you just jumping from one role to another to the next best role? Have you found a defined path that you are really planning and you're taking charge of your career? In this session, we will look at what tools you have to build such a career plan and also to come out with some detailed next steps, even with PowerShell. Before we start, I want to also thank our sponsors. Thank you. Without PowerShell Conf EU would not be possible. My name is Miriam, and I work for Microsoft as a research PM. And I currently focus on Sentinel research. I have written a book on PowerShell security. And in my career at Microsoft, I'm now at Microsoft for more than 8.5 years. I had really good mentors in this career, and I also mentored more than 30 people. And in this session, I will tell you how I came up with the term North Star goal, how it helped me, and how it helped some of my mentees. So let me introduce you to little Miriam. This was me with my first learning laptop, and actually I had no clue what I should become later on. I was always interested in computers. I thought, well, becoming a hacker would be something cool, but that's illegal, so that was off the table. Actually, I also wanted to maybe become a game developer. Funny thing, I never really became a game developer, but explored the security path later. But it was not really easy to find that I really wanted to work in security. And for me, the first steps in my career were just like, okay, I just thought, okay, what could be the next interesting role? And started as a system administrator, then became a software developer because that was always some kind of interest. And I thought, okay, maybe I can really work in the game industry as a game developer. But turned out, no, only chasing deadlines and not doing it for fun is not my thing. So I went back to my roots, became a system engineer. And this was the point when I discovered, actually, it was always security. In every role, I had security aspects. And so everything just fitted like a puzzle to that point to where I was. So it was security for me. I started at Microsoft as a PFE, that is some kind of a consultant, then became a CXE PM. As a CXE PM, I discovered my own North Star goal, which led to a way more focused path, leading me into the role as a security researcher and finally as a technical research PM. So how did I discover the North Star goal? So when I started as a PFE at Microsoft, I was finally where I always wanted to be. I was working in security. I helped customers finding out where their vulnerabilities were. I consulted them, but I did not want to stay a PFE. And at Microsoft, I was told, okay, the only role that you can do if you stay in Germany, and I did not want to relocate to the US or Israel or India or wherever cool other roles were located. If you stay in Germany, the highest role that you can achieve is a CXE PM. And for me, that was like, oh, wow, that's a huge goal. And I did my job. I was very visible to others. I also posted on Twitter when it was still Twitter. And people noticed me that I was very interested in Defender. And so at some day, a colleague reached out and was like, hey, do you always want to stay a PFE? And was like, hell no. And so I got drawn and got offered the opportunity to work as a CXE PM. Of course, I also had to do the interviews, but I succeeded and I became a CX EPM. And it was like, oh my God, dreams came true. And I was super motivated, and then I fell into a deep hole. Because, hey, that was my goal. That was my final goal. What should I do now? I had no idea what I should do after that. And this was the point to pull myself out of this motivation goal where I thought, okay, I can't just chase role after role, because if I achieve it, the next time, again, I fall into this motivation hole. And so I thought, okay, what is a thing that I possibly cannot achieve ever? But something that I'm so passionate about, that I really admire all people that have those skills. And for me, so this is very personal, but my North Star goal is to have the skills like a Google Project Zero researcher. That does not need to mean that I will work at Google or I want to work at Google. That just means I admire those skills. And for me, it is so far away that I have a long run until I can possibly achieve that goal. So after I knew that, I was able to plan my path forward, and the next possible role was to work in security research. So what is a North Star goal? And how can you find one? And I don't expect you to go out of this session today and say, yes, I exactly know my North Star goal. Maybe one or two maybe have some idea, but working with my mentees, it's incredibly hard to really find your North Star goal, to really make up your mind what is it on the horizon that leads your path. So to find your North Star goal, think about, what are you passionate about? What drives you? What do you admire? So is there something that you admire, that you really like, that you're passionate about? Also something that you possibly can't reach, that is so far away that it keeps shining on your path, that it won't vanish so soon once you reach your next career goal. And last but not least, also something that makes you happy. So it's not only about something that drives you, but also something that you could live with on the long term. And again, it's not easy to just come up with a North Star goal just like this. But take this as your motivation, schedule some regular time, and think about what you want out of this life. So I also had someone that was very passionate about outer space. And this was also his North Star goal. But he wanted to combine that North Star goal with his tech career and found options how to combine it. So that makes also your path more meaningful if you find that. Next steps. Once you have found your North Star goal, just try. Separate or split your path to your North Star goal in possible next roles, and just try out the next role. Fail. And if you fail, don't beat yourself up, because you only learn through failure. Failure is the best thing that can happen to you. You will never learn better, but fail fast. Believe in yourself. Everybody will tell you, oh no, that's not possible. That's never possible. I was also like, it's never possible to work in security research at Microsoft. And I was very persistent and applied until I found a manager that was actually up for making an exception for me to stay in Germany. And after I achieved this goal, people were even saying, oh, I also believe you will achieve your North Star goal someday. I still don't believe it, but believe in yourself, because nobody else will. And if you found your North Star goal, it does not matter if you achieve your North Star goal someday, but every step you take in this direction is a right step, because you just get closer to your North Star goal, and you just take the right steps. And I already said it, take some regular time to reflect, maybe schedule an appointment every 2 weeks to make sure you think about it. Because if you just have it in the back of your mind but never take your time to think, you will never make up a North Star goal. Take your time and commit to yourself. And by the end of this session, so stay tuned, I also have a little script for you, because it's still PowerShell based. I have a little script that can help you getting inspiration. So the North Star goal is not something that is the end goal. It's not something that you have to reach, but it can influence your career, and I want to emphasize it. So you have a certain level of skills that shape your path. For example, empathy or people skills. So you also have a personal life that shapes your path, and you also have a work environment that shapes your path. So the right role is not the right role if the work environment does not fit. If you are not able to communicate with your manager or your team, it's not the right role. In some cases, personal life will hit. So I also became the mom of a little toddler. And for me, I can't just work the entire day like I did before. It also influences my career and with skills. So I am now a research PM because people told me, hey, your people skills are quite incredible. You should really try. You're still in a technical role as a technical PM, but with your skills, you can also influence the strategy. And so with this, sometimes you also just need to be in the right place at the right time, like I was with becoming a CXE PM. But with this, it does not matter where your path leads you. It might be that you end up here where it's best for your environment and your personal life, or that your skills really contribute a lot to where you are going to. In the end, of course, it can also lead that you're getting really close to your North Star goal. And in this moment, you should reconsider setting a new North Star goal. But everything here is a step in the right direction, and it just influences your career path. Of course, also keep in mind, it can't be only career, it can't be only family, and also it can't be only focusing on yourself. So it's always a balance between those three. So this week, I'm not focusing on family because I left my family at home. But there are those weeks. And there are also weeks where your family just needs you. So you focus stronger on family. You always need to keep that in mind. And by the way, this is also a picture that my manager shared with our team. So I really, really appreciate this drawing. So before we get into the script, how to get inspirations for your North Star goal, I also want to give you some tools that are valuable for your career progress, that are not only about reaching your North Star goal, but that help you to support your North Star goal. So one thing that we always hear, visibility. I really hate visibility. I hate that word. I hate getting out there, being visible. I'm not the person who raises her hand and say, hey, I'm here, yay. No, I'm not that one. So we are constantly asked to be more visible, to show our successes, to show our impact. And so also if you want to get promoted, it is incredibly important to be visible to your peers, to your management. And some tactics that you can use if you are not that outgoing person like I am, and not always tooting your own horn. What you can do is, if you're working on a project, share the status. You are talking about the work. You're not talking about yourself, but you can share the status, especially the impact. What impact does this have for your company? And like this, you share your wins without bragging about your own work. And another thing that I have, since I work at Microsoft, I have a OneNote in which I put all the comments that somebody made about me, if it's positive. And I shared that OneNote with my manager. So my manager just has to open that OneNote and sees all the good stuff what people said about me, and I don't have to share it myself. So that is also a very easy thing. Make sure that your manager and also his manager is aware of what you're doing. So I trust my manager, and for me, it is easier to share with him because he is aware that I hate all this bragging stuff, all this visibility stuff. But for me, this makes it easier to tell him, hey, look, this is where we got. And he shares it in his network. And you can also ask your manager if he or she is your outer voice and can share your successes. If you want to get in the next position, make sure you already work like that. If you want to get a promotion, already work on that level before you ask for a promotion. And when's the time? One question that is easy to ask, not that easy, but easier as to ask for, can I get promoted, is what do I need to do to be considered for the next promotion? And I also got an advice at some point. My colleague told me, hey Miriam, what do you think? Who will get the promotion next? The person that does an incredible good job but never talks about their achievements? Or the person that constantly asks the manager, hey, do I get a promotion? Do I get a promotion? Of course, it's a person who is vocal and who asks. Therefore, it is uncomfortable asking for a promotion. But if you ask, what do I need to do to be considered? This makes it easier for you, and your manager is still aware. Your network is what counts. We just had a lot of layoffs in the last months. Your network is what brings you further, opens opportunities, helps you. And if everything else breaks, the people who you genuinely connected with are there for you. When you're networking, it's not a tool. It's nothing that you should do in a calculated way. Rather think, what can you give to the world? What can you give the people that are around you? Because if you give, people will also give back. And it's not that you're calculating. It's always a good thing to learn from others. I had such good mentors at Microsoft, and I still really admire their advice. And through those mentorships, I also made incredible connections. Don't put people on pedestals. So this is what also is happening to me all the time. So when I was first at PSConf in 2017, I was like, oh my God, I was a speaker back then, just stumbled into PSConf. And I was like, oh my God, all those other speakers, they are so incredible smart. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. And like this, I became awkward. And you notice this in conversations. But everybody is the same. It does not matter the role. It does not matter the status. You can just go there and also speak to everybody. It doesn't matter if they are a technical fellow at Microsoft or if they are a speaker or whatever. So don't put people on pedestals, because that's not only uncomfortable for you, but also uncomfortable for them. Be authentic. Be yourself. And if you see something that you like, people love compliments. Make sure that you give genuine and authentic compliments. If you like a sweater, for example, then say, hey, I like that sweater. That looks great. And the other person goes, oh, thank you. Cool. And is already in a better mood. In a better mood. It's always, when you interact with people, it's always how you make them feel. If you offend people, they will remember, and they might even take vengeance or plan vengeance. If you make somebody feel good, they will remember that you made them feel good. They will remember you in a positive way. Show genuine interest, not just brushing it off. Of course, sometimes you don't have time. Of course, sometimes you are in a rush. That is also possible, but if you talk with somebody, show genuine interest. Make sure to also listen what people have to say. Ask questions, summarize, make sure you understood what the person had to say. You learn so much more if you just listen and not talk, not bring your own point over. Of course, at some point that's also important, but listen. Challenge your bias. I had really good experiences where I noticed that I was biased because I knew somebody who looked that way, who was not nice to me. And so I overcame that bias and developed the best connection ever because this person was completely different to the one that I had in my mind. When appropriate, also be vulnerable. Show your weak side. Of course, not with everybody, but in the situation when you know you can be. That also shows authenticity. One book that I really like is Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Again, it's not about the tool. It's about authenticity and being more yourself. We need to go a little bit faster through the last slide to be able to show the demo. So to be efficient and to focus. One thing, I really like to procrastinate sometimes. And what really helped me with that, especially when writing a book, I was like, oh, I don't want to write a book. I was Googling something. I was looking up social media stuff. Pomodoro technique. You set an alarm for 25 minutes. You focus, you commit to focus during those 25 minutes. You do nothing else. And after those 25 minutes, you have 5 minutes to do whatever you like. For me, it really works like a charm because you commit yourself, you do nothing else. If I notice that I struggle and go astray, I start again. And like this, you force yourself to keep the focus. Set focus time. Make sure to also eliminate all notifications. Set your mobile phone in another room. Close Outlook, close Teams. Make sure you are focused. Reduce email time. So try to not look at your emails, but 1 or 2 times a day. There are even people who only look at emails once a week. So there is this book, the 4-hour week, for example. I did not manage to look at emails once a week, but at least twice a day works for me. Plan your work day and your week. Start with your days. Say, okay, at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day that you plan your work day, what you will achieve. And later on, once you manage to do that continuously, you will be also able to plan your week. Of course, there is room for flexibility. Start reading books in your spare time. There is so much social media that always distracts you, that keeps you, that gets away your focus. And it's not easy to restart if you haven't, but read books and your focus will slightly come back and improve. And there's also the book, Eat That Frog. Always start with the most uncomfortable, biggest task that you're not excited about. Once that's gone, you can work on the smaller ones. And with that, let's see if we can find our North Star goal, or if we can at least get some inspiration. And I need one volunteer. I have a script that will help you to assess your motivations and so on, and comes up with some possible career paths. So I need a volunteer. Is anybody up to come to me to the stage? So we have 2 volunteers. Thank you very much. So will you come up to the stage? Applause! Hello, what's your name? Sergio. Nice to meet you, Sergio. So, here's my script and my prompt, and I need to increase the size. I think it does not work for the terminal. Okay, so let us just read out what is written there. So basically, this function asks you, what is your motivation? So what motivates you? What drains your energy? And first question is, what is your name? So Sergio. What is your current role, Sergio? Oh, sorry, it's a German keyboard. And Sergio is a DevOps architect. Can you mention some things that motivates you? So, for example, helping others, solving problems.
Yeah, kind of that thing. So it's like ensuring that all the gears work properly.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
Making people succeed with their deliverables.
What drains your energy? So I don't like political discussions, for example. So
Difficult people.
yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, let's keep that.
Yeah.
This.
What do you consider your top 3 strengths?
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking. So I just repeat it because, yeah, you're not on the microphone. Critical thinking. So two other strengths.
Looking at the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to see the big picture.
Looking at the big picture or trying to see the big picture. And last strength.
Oh, 3.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Creative.
Creativity. What kind of work makes you lose track of time? So something positive. When do you forget the world around you?
When I have a goal,
Mm-hmm.
like an interesting subject, which I like digging into that. Like
Yeah.
when I start work on that, it's like I disconnect totally from everything.
Yeah. So Sergio is saying when he has a goal and he can dig on it, he's forgetting everything. But is there maybe some kind of defined work that you can specify, like coding or creating an Excel sheet? Well, that's not for me, but
Okay, let's say coding.
coding. What kind of work would you like to be known for? So now think bigger.
Things would impact.
Yeah,
Impactful thing.
impactful things. Maybe any direction like DevOps, security.
DevSecOps, FinOps.
Sorry.
FinOps also like DevSec.
Can you just write it? I'm sorry. I'm not a DevOps and. And what are your personal goals or commitments that influence your career and your work-life balance? So, for example, do you have a family? Do you have children? Is there any volunteering work that you do?
Reading the question a moment. Yeah, there is something which I really want. This is like improve my soft skills.
Yeah.
With both my family, my kids, my co-workers.
So you also have family and kids here as a commitment?
I mean, soft skills with
Yeah.
everyone around me.
Yeah, this is more where you're spending your time also. Because if you have family and kids, you also need to spend time with them and can't 100% focus on creating new cool DevOps stuff in your spare time.
Yeah, and that's kind of a difficult thing because like sometimes you're with the kids and then you have your big bang idea and let me
Yes.
and then the kids on the second plan and then it's like that creates a bit of tension in the family.
Yeah, I understand. For the recording, it's difficult when you just have your big bang idea and you just spend time with your family and you just can't run off. And to keep also that idea, there is the conflict then with the family. What professions are you interested in? So besides of DevOps?
Architecture, business analysis.
Architect, business analyst. What skills do you admire? So something that is really hard and that you would like to have. So I think soft skill improvements you already mentioned. Is there also something technical?
Yeah, but this is something like a constant.
Yeah.
Something it's like growing.
Mm-hmm. Is there also something technical that you?
Yeah, I have a passion and I'm trying to build my own telescope, and this requires a lot of mathematical formulas, thinking, aligning.
Wow. So Sergio is trying to build his own telescope. So that is really impressive. And math. Okay, so now we do have here our very own prompt. So Sergio, I will now take this prompt, put it into the AI of your choice. In this case, it's Copilot. And here are now 5 career paths for you with some stepstone roles and with some key strengths to develop. So one path could be systems enabler. One path could be strategic technologist. One path, analytical builder, autonomous innovator, or human-centered architect. Of course, those are some suggestions. And the more details you enter, the more detailed it gets. Of course, I understand that you don't want to share your deepest, darkest secrets here on stage with us. So thank you so much for being our test candidate and for sharing with us. Later after the session, I can just share with you what the output. So stay with me a bit and thank you so much. Big applause for Sergio. Yeah, and with that, I will publish the script later on my GitHub. And I hope you all found some motivation to think about your North Star goal, to think where you can go next. And maybe also the script helps you if you have no clue at all. Remember, with the North Star goal, it is important to regular think what it is, and then you can split your career into the next steps. With that, thank you very much for your attention. And let me know if you found your North Star goal and how you're proceeding. Thank you. Are there any questions? Now there's room. Yes. Yes. The link to my GitHub. Give me a second. It's on my intro slide. Yes. So presentation will be also on PSConf and the script as well. But there are so many conferences and there are links all around. So I also just publish it on my GitHub to have everything in my place in one place. Yes. There are a lot of books. So that one, Eat That Frog, is also a good book. The Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Something that you can do to work on yourself and to build new habits, atomic habits. What area are you interested in, especially? Azure infrastructure. That's another topic. So I at this moment, I can't just give you any Azure infrastructure recommendation just out of this. I can follow up on it. I thought you mentioned social skills and career improvement.
Public speaking then. What any books for public speaking?
Practice. So yeah, to be honest, I did not read a single book on public speaking. I had a mentor, so I had some struggles with me speaking English on stage because I never felt comfortable because I had an accent, and so this was why I approached somebody and asked him to be my mentor for public speaking. And this is why I never read a book on this topic. So I just had somebody that helped me with this path, and I just practice. Go out there, fail fast, come back, and continue. Yes?
Do you have any tips on finding a mentor if you're already pretty advanced and maybe don't have so many peers within your organization?
Yes. So the question is, when you're already in a pretty advanced role and you don't have that many peers in your organization, how to find a mentor? And that's a tricky one because I assume that in your organization, you don't have anybody that you would even consider a mentor if you're already asking this way. Yeah, okay, you're asking for a friend, of course. So I also know people that are in a situation like this, and they also looked outside of this company. So you can, for example, go to conferences or look at LinkedIn, find interesting people. And then it depends. If you are at a conference, then it's easier to ask. because you also have the personal aspect. When you just approach somebody on LinkedIn that is a complete stranger, it might be harder because those people also get a lot of requests. But usually the worst thing that can happen is that the mentor you ask says no. So not a big deal, right? This is why I always encourage to just ask. And if there is somebody, you just need to look around, think, who do you admire? And when I looked for a mentor, so Microsoft is also a big company. So for me, although they were in the company, it still felt very disconnected. And people suggested really big mentors for me. And I was like, I can never ask this person. What the hell? And at some point, I really asked him, and I wrote an email with a pounding heart. And I was like, okay, hi, I'm Miriam. These are my achievements. Would you like to become my mentor? And then the day began on the US part, and I received the nicest email ever. And he just wrote, yes, I would be honored. And so I never thought that he would become my mentor, but he actually was willing to. And this is why I'm saying just ask. Also outside of your organization. Just if you see somebody at a conference who is maybe posting something on LinkedIn that you admire, go there, be authentic. Make genuine compliments and say, hey, I really like your content. I really like your knowledge. I admire what you do. I wanted to become like you. Can you help me on that way? Yes, please.
Is there anything that you learned from mentoring others?
I learn a lot when I mentor others. Yes. So I always challenge myself. So this is a difficult question for me. So I always say I'm learning so much from others, but when you ask me what specifically, I need to think because it's just development that went over all the time. And what I learned from others, I also learned being more patient with myself, because this is also what I always recommend. And I'm never the best example. I also learned just looking also outside of security. And because I have a very strong security focus, and for me it was everything security, but there are also other areas that need some focus. And if you make it super secure, then other people can't work, for example. So you need to keep the balance. And it also helped me a lot to be more comfortable also sharing the things and personal things, and seeing that it actually helps people. Yeah, this was also a very private answer. Yes.
Yes, that is, mentoring is not one-way door. It's a door, and it's both-way communication. So it's like you're sharing something to the mentee, but also you're receiving some information from that, and then you're revisiting your pillars, your understanding, and your visions, and accepting the extra information.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't have said it better. So for the recording, I don't know if the Q&A is being recorded, but Sergio has just also said that mentoring is a two-way door, and I can't repeat all the goodness he just said, so thank you so much. And with that, if there are no other questions, thank you so much for your time. I hope you found some inspiration, and I see you around and also today at the community dinner.